Hi, I'm Rainbow Sparkle and I'm reading The Enchanted Wood by Enid Blyton. This is chapter 25, The Punishment of the Red Goblins. It's certainly time to deal with those red goblins, said Mr. Whiskers, the chief brownie, wiping his long beard with a yellow handkerchief. He had dropped plum juice all down it. And in that moment there came a great surprise. A deep voice came down from above them. "Oh-ho, here's a nice little company. What about coming back with me into Wizardland and doing a few jobs?" Everyone turned in dismay. They saw a curious figure above them, leaning down from a big branch. It was a wizard, whose green eyes blinked lazily like a cat's. "It's Mighty One, the wizard," said Moonface as he got up to bow. For Mighty One was as mighty as his name, so everyone did the same. "Who is he?" whispered Fanny. "He's the most powerful wizard in the world," whispered back Silkie. "He's come down the ladder, so that means the land of red goblins has gone and the land of wizards has come. They are always on the lookout for servants, and I suppose Mighty One has come down to look for some." "Well, I'm not going up to be a servant for a wizard," said Fanny. "Oh, you won't be," said Silkie. "He's not a bad fellow. He won't take anyone who doesn't want to go. It's good training for a fairy who wants to learn magic." Mighty One blinked his eyes slowly and looked at the little crowd on the branches before him. "I need about 100 servants to take back with me," he said. "Who will come?" Nobody said a word. Moonface got up and bowed again. Your Highness," he said, "none of us want to leave the Enchanted Wood, where we are all very happy. You may perhaps find some others who would like to go back with you. We beg you not to take any of us." "Well," said the wizard, sliding his green eyes from one person to another, "I haven't much time. My land will swing away from the faraway tree in about an hour. Can you get me the servants that I want? If you can, I will not take you then." Everybody looked worried, but Joe jumped up with a beaming face. Your Highness, would red goblins do for your servants?" "Excellently," said Mighty One. "They are quick and obedient, but goblins would never agree to coming with me. They belong to their own land." Moonface, What's-His-Name and Saucepanman all began to talk at once. Mighty One lifted his hand and stopped them. "One at a time, please," said the wizard. So Moonface spoke. "Sir," he said, "we have about 100 goblins boxed up in the middle of this tree. They tried to take us prisoner in our own tree, and it would be very good punishment for them if we gave them to you to take away to your own land as servants." Mighty One looked astonished. 100 goblins?" he said. "Oh, that is very strange. Explain." So Moonface explained, and Mighty One was most interested to hear all about the fight. "We'll go down to the bottom of the tree and let the goblins out one by one," said Joe, excited. "Come on." What a shock for them when they could see the wizard. So they all trooped down the tree in the bright rays of the rising sun. Really, it was most exciting. They came to the trapdoor at the foot of the tree, and behind it they could hear a lot of shouting and quarrelling and pushing. "Get away! Don't push me! They're squashing me! You're squashing me!" Moonface unbolted the trapdoor and opened it. Out shot a red goblin and fell on a green cushion of moss. He picked himself up, blinked in the sunlight, and then turned to run. But Mighty One trapped him with his wand, and he stood still. He couldn't move. He looked scared when he saw the wizard. One by one, the red goblins tumbled out of the trapdoor and were trapped by the wizard. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. They all came shooting out the trapdoor, surprised and frightened, sliding gradually down the slippery slip as one after another they slid out the trapdoor. The girls giggled. It was a funny sight to see. "It's a very good punishment for those bad goblins," said Silkie. "They came down the ladder to trap you, and now someone else has trapped them, and it's taking them back to his land." The red goblins stood in a sulky row, quite unable to run away. "Quick march," said the wizard, when the last one had slid out the trapdoor, and up the tree went all the sulky goblins. It was no use trying to escape. The wizard had put a spell on their legs, and they had to go up to the top of the tree, through the big white cloud and into the wizard land. "A jolly good riddance to bad rubbish," said Joe. "My word, what an exciting night we've had. Oh, I did enjoy it." "Isn't it cold?" said Saucepanman, shivering. "Cold?" cried Bessie and Fanny, who were feeling really hot in the morning sun. "Why, it's as warm as can be." "It's because he hasn't got his kettles and saucepan hung around him," said what's-his-name. "I expect they feel the cold. Poor old Saucepanman." "It's because he hasn't got his kettles and saucepans hung around him as usual," said what's-his-name. "I expect they feel the cold. It's like a coat for him, poor old Saucepanman." "I don't like the look of him without his saucepans," said Fanny. "He doesn't look right. Can't we collect them back for him? They're on the ground all over the tree." So they began to collect the Saucepanman's belongings. He was very pleased. They hung his kettles on him and his saucepans all around, and a special one for a hat. Some of them were dented and bent, but he didn't mind a bit. "There," said the girls, "you look like yourself now. You looked horrid without the saucepans on, like a snail without its shell." "I never had a bell," said the Saucepanman. "Shell," said Fanny. "Smell?" said Saucepanman, looking round. "I can't smell anything at the moment. What sort of smell, nice or nasty?" "Shell, not smell," said Fanny patiently. "Oh, shell, what shell?" said the Saucepanman. But Fanny had forgotten what she was talking about and shook her head and laughed. "Never mind," she shouted. "We are glad you look like yourself again." "We really must go," said Joe. "Mother will be up and wondering whatever has happened to us." "Oh dear, I do feel sleepy. Come on, girls." They said goodbye to all the tree dwellers and set off through the Enchanted Wood. Silkie went back to her house in the tree, wondering what had happened to her clock, which hadn't joined in the fight at all. Had it been fast asleep? Moonface went back to the tree, yawning. What's-his-name and Saucepanman climbed back, so tired that they fell asleep before they'd even reached the hole, and had to be put safely in a corner on a broad branch by the angry pixie in case they fell down. Dame Washalot went back, making her mind up to do no washing that day at all. Soon there was peace in the tree, and only the snores of what's-her-name could be heard. Far up in the land of wizards, the red goblins were working hard. Oh, they had got good punishment, hadn't they? They wouldn't be in such a hurry to catch other people in the future. The three children got home, and their mother stared at them in surprise. "You are up early this morning," she said. "I thought you were all still in bed." Fancy getting up and going for a walk before breakfast like that. How sleepy the children were that day. And dear me, didn't they go to bed early that night. No more wandering through the Enchanted Wood and up the faraway tree for me tonight, said Joe as he got into his bed. I vote we don't get there for a long time. It's getting a bit too exciting. But it wasn't long before they went there again, as you will see.